Hello, I'm Donald Standeford. Thank you for tuning in to Donald Trump's, I'm teaching people to write using Donald Trump's world, which is actually our world. We are in it as much as he is now, even though he's the one that took on the deep state himself. A lot of us expected him to do it alone, but now we find ourselves fighting for our own freedom against people who would enslave us to our enemies, namely communist China. So, I talked a little bit about putting your surprise in the subplot so you don't trip over it all the time. I talked about how Trump spent the first 4 or 5 years and the 4 years of his presidency and his running time, and before that even, learning about the deep state reconnaissance mission. It was an important thing. He must get it right. The military is precise. They go over it again and again. And they have imaginative people, unlike the Democrats, who know many, many tricks and are great experts at pulling them off, but don't have any imagination. And thus they break one of the rules that Trump would consider very important. The rule: you never fight yesterday's battle. You never fight the same battle twice, because the enemy then can figure it out, what you're going to do. You can see that Nancy Pelosi always fights the same battle. She impeached Trump twice. These Democrats are losers. They play checkers while Trump plays 3D chess. Trump thinks several moves ahead. Trump thinks many moves ahead. He also has the help of the United States military intelligence and the backing of many people, and he can study the deep state, and they will strategize and make a plan to take them down before they ruin this country. So Trump had to play Rocky. He had to take those blows from the politicians who were fearful and scared they would be caught for treason. Why? Because the Democrats, the Republicans, the mainstream news, the billionaires, the elite, the FBI, the CIA, and many other government and civilian institutions were all compromised. There was a bunch of them. One of the reasons people saw it as a conspiracy theory is a lot of people just didn't think that it could be that many people that would turn against this nation. That it was just hard for them to believe. They underestimated the power of a nation such as China, used to dealing with manipulating people to invade our system and raise up themselves people into office. They had more to do with our elections than we did in the last couple of decades. So the treasonous press went after Trump to murder his reputation and oust him from the White House. They started investigations against him, his family, and his friends. Each time they would prolong the investigation and leak out lies from it, as if they were finding enough to nail Trump. Then, after they leaked all these lies out and hurt his reputation, the treasonous, unwarranted investigation would end with Trump still untouched. So they'd start another bogus investigation into Trump and his friends and family. They were relentless, and they are still relentless. High-tech companies also competed in the contest of how to beat down Trump. None of them won, though they did cause numerous types of damage. Woke companies, social media, and a treasonous press that wrote fictional stories aimed at their objective of taking out Trump rather than reporting the truth. So we have a nation here where the three-letter agencies turn against the people, spy on the people, and so they're turning inward against the people instead of turning outward towards other nations and keeping us safe, keeping our elections safe. We're fighting a civil war, a battle of wills between two sides. One side compromised, the other side trying to make sense of the world around them. If you want to know who is reporting the truth and who is reporting propaganda, one red flag is that when everyone seems to know the cause of an event almost immediately after it happens, automatically it is Russia that hacked the pipeline. Someone from Russia tried to hack into the meat company. It's Russia, Russia, Russia. These words are repeated constantly, though they are never proven. When Russia supposedly attacks a meat factory, it takes about 4 minutes for them to diagnose the situation and come up with the guilty party. It's Russia. Where is the investigation? They don't need one. They're just going to blame it on Russia because they want a war with Russia. Most of what was reported on the mainstream media was false. Still, they would shrug their shoulders, mumble a half apology, and start concocting the next hit piece against their enemy, Donald Trump. He scared them. He had access to their plans. He had access to top secret information that could blow them open. Why people continued to eat up those lies is an anomaly. Even the Hollywood elite joined in against Trump. In my opinion, then, they were entirely in favor of enslaving us. For some reason, the public has difficulty discerning fact from fiction. When Israel blasted an API building, Associated Press building, giving an hour's notice so it could be evacuated, all the left went crazy. Turned out later that the press had been sharing the building with Hamas. The press was in knee-deep, complicit in Hamas's operations and even helping them to cover up what they were doing. Hamas even killed Palestinians with rockets that fell short and landed in the Gaza Strip. The press wants the immunity that journalists enjoy, but they are not journalists. So should they enjoy the immunity? They have become propagandists. Trump must act to get up close to the suspected politicians. All politicians had some suspicion on them. Since Trump was not an ordinary president, he had to reach out not just for his own political good, which would have allowed him to write off some people and develop close relationship with others. He had to get close to anyone he could get close to. Donald Trump, soon to be President Trump, did not want to see a Democrat enduring the disgrace of a military tribunal any more than he wanted to see disgrace in a Republican, a civilian, or anyone. So he reached out to anyone who would listen to him. Trump made himself available to anyone who would approach or listen to him. People called him a fool for reaching out to people who only turned on him. What an idiot. He should have known that this person was going to turn on him. Why would he do such a simple, stupid thing? It seems as if a fool does really turn on those who are trying to help them. Often also, they will befriend those who only seek to harm them. So Trump had to follow the road of the great leaders alone. That is often the case. True visionaries, geniuses, may have people working with them, for them, or near them. They usually have anyone that can experience the challenges, obstacles, or inner turmoil that true leaders such as George Washington, Abe Lincoln, and Donald Trump has. The inner emotions mix with the thoughts that can never go away. Some of these leaders remain hated by many, whom they have deflected, halted, even ruined. Only effective leaders are targeted. Trump must have known from the beginning that he would be a huge target. He would be well insulated by 60,000 spies and soldiers, an army that had been made about a decade ago when all of this traitorous activity started with Obama. The Pentagon had put together this 60,000 man army full of soldiers and spies. And they had put them in companies, they had put them in other nations, and they were self-surviving. They did not depend on Congress for money. They used the businesses that they ran while they were undercover. That's where they got their money. This was so they could stay low. Newsweek spent 2 years finding this out. It took them 2 years of using the Freedom of Information Act and investigation, which must have been something really new to them to actually do investigations, to ferret out the knowledge of this special forces, which I believe will eventually be the replacement for the FBI and CIA and maybe other three-letter agencies. So Trump would be well insulated with this 60,000 person army and soldiers to protect him. But a nation such as China, the CCP, can summon up billions of dollars for anyone who can get to and kill a United States president who stands as much a threat against them that they lose to him as they seem to be, they lose the world. They wanted Trump dead. Trump reached out to 60 Minutes, the show, by allowing them an interview, probably against his assistant's will. Later on, the not-so-funny comedians show, they taunted him. They called him a fool for taking an interview where he would be torn apart. But Trump had allowed himself the humility of being a loser, who calls Georgia with the intent of getting election supervisors and the governor to scare up some votes. They made it sound as if he were bribing them or threatening them to cheat for him. They rigged the audio tape. They made it to sound as if he were up to no good. He was trying to give them a chance to come clean, to do the right thing, but they didn't. The New York Times retracted their article on the tape after the whole thing was over. The woken mob generally acts after the fact, which is no good, does no good for anyone. If only they realized, and some of them certainly did realize, that Donald Trump was standing up for the very enemies who tried to destroy him. He was trying to save them too. Donald Trump took the pain, the knocks, the bruises, even from the beginning of the campaign. Even worse, Melania, the First Lady, was robbed of the respect she deserved as wife of the president. She may have been the best woman ever to hold the position of First Lady in the history of our country, just as Donald Trump himself might have been one of the best presidents in our history. Certainly, if she had been married to Bill Clinton or to Obama, even one of the Bushes, she would have been treated as royalty. She wouldn't have had to change anything about herself to deserve that. Her treatment, and Donald Trump's treatment for that matter, was based not on personality or demeanor, but on political views. Joe Biden's son could carry millions of dollars around in a bag, Chinese yuan leaking out of the top of the bag, bank receipts thrown to the wind with Joe's signatures on them, and receipt of bribe money specified on each receipt, notarized, as if the FBI, the CIA, the mainstream news, or any other government organization got hold of it, they would run up, give the notes back to Hunter, and tell him to be careful to not get caught. Not so with Donald Trump's children. They tried to get Donald Jr. in trouble for having a 15-minute meeting with several people. One happened to be a Russian spy one 15-minute meeting with a Russian spy in the group, meeting with him, and now Junior is a Russian operative. Open and shut case. Don't even need to investigate. The science is shut on this. There is no refuting it. If you do try to refute it, we will shut you down too. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to cut it out. Now I will go to the, where is that? Oh, the Novel Factory. You can also get the Novel Factory for free trial. And I'm going to make a new scene. It's going to be another sequel. I'm going to make it a first draft. I could make it other stuff, but I don't know. And save. Okay. And I'm going to save it in case something happens. I won't be sad. Of course, the new scene always goes on the top, and then you got to find a place to put it. I need to make a name for it. Trump against the world as he surveys the land. Okay, and I will save that. And okay, I think I'm going to put that pretty far back here. I need to make some scenes out of these sequels, but right now I'm just trying to get the mood down, what kind of things are going on. Okay, plot point 1, act 1. We're going to go up here further, chapter 4. Chapter 3 is after chapter 4. I'm going to just plop it there, and I'm going to move chapter 4 after chapter 3. That might be wise. Okay, I'm going to have to do some more rearranging later. Save it. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and save this one, so the part I cut out won't reappear. And I'm going to let you go, and I thank you for, and please like, rumble, or share. And tell me how long you think these sessions should last. I can do it anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours. How long should I keep the most? Thank you, and have a great day.